I'm Roger Mills, and I'm here with Debbie Slocum with Slocum Ridge Pet Camp. And today we're going to be talking about a little extra on Pet 101 and Puppy 101. And of course, many of y'all know Debbie is probably our local pet whisperer, if you will. And Debbie, let's talk about today new puppies and some of the things that you're going to be doing as a new puppy owner.
Okay, today mainly we want to focus on just some rules of housebreaking.
Okay.
Okay. One of the first things we need to make sure we do is we start with a puppy den. Your puppy needs his own private little space, and what I'm referring to is a crate. He needs a little tiny space that is his own little space. It's not timeout. It's not punishment area. It's where your puppy can sleep. It's where he can be safe. And it's where he can be, it's like putting your baby in the crib or the pack and play, so that when you have to turn your back on him for a few seconds, that he is safe. He can't get into something he's not supposed to. He can't get himself hurt. And so you need to get your puppy fitted with a proper sized crate that's not too large, but is comfortable. And this is going to be his sleeping area. This is where he's going to spend the majority of his time in the very early days. But that's the first thing you want to start with.
Okay. Now, forgive my ignorance here, but is there a general rule of thumb to size of dog, to size of crate?
Yes. Your puppy needs to be able to sleep comfortably, stand up and turn around comfortably, but he does not need an area that's large enough that he can make a bathroom area and a sleeping area out of it. He needs just a sleeping area.
Okay, so I guess as he or she grows, your crate must grow.
That, or you can buy a crate, and if you buy a wire crate, you can actually, some of them come with dividers, or you can devise a divider so you can section off a portion of the crate. Or you can grow, let the crate grow with the dog. You can probably get away with a small crate early. If you get small breed, you can probably be okay with one crate. If you've got a larger breed, you may have to go through 2 crates by the time you get to an adult.
Okay, the other part, I know we're going to get to 2 other parts of their life. They're sleeping, obviously, with the crate. The next thing, of course, the other 2 big things that they do is they poop, potty. So, but to do that, they've got to eat.
Right.
So let's talk about food intake.
Okay, that's the next most important thing is you want to feed a good food. You don't want to feed a food that's filled with a lot of cereal fillers, because your manufacturers are going to fill them with cereal fillers so they can put the largest bag on the grocer's shelf for the least money, because that's the one you're going to buy. You want to look at your ingredients. You want to look for a food that starts with a good meat protein. Corn is used for protein a lot in a lot of cheap dog foods. Corn is a protein, but it is not a protein that dogs can digest very well. So you don't want to use a food that has corn as its primary protein. Preferably, I stay away from a food that has corn in it anywhere in the ingredient list, at least in the first few ingredients.
Right. I probably should have asked you before this show, if I can ask you this question, but can you, if you can't, it's okay. Can you recommend like maybe 3 or 4?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeding Taste of the Wild as my primary food now. Iams makes some good foods. I really like the Natural Balance products, Nutro, Diamond. Several of those are really, really good foods. But I would definitely stay away from some of the cheaper foods, the off brands, the store brands, that kind of thing.
So I guess you end up with some of those a bigger mess sometimes than you want to have when they're cheaper, because they don't process them.
Right.
Okay.
A couple more Blue Buffalo, Canaday. So there's several that I can think of that are really good.
Okay. All right. So they're sleeping, they're eating. The next thing is when they're getting ready to go poop or potty, what are some things I need to be looking for?
Okay. Anytime that they're not sleeping or eating, you need to be watching. That's the big thing. Watch your puppy. You need to be watching. And what you're watching for is any signal that they're fixing to go potty, and it won't take long for you to pick up on that signal if you'll watch. Not every dog does exactly the same thing, but they're all going to have something they do every time. They may circle, they may try to sneak behind the couch, they may try to sneak into the other room, they may just have a funny look on their face, but they're going to do that just before they poop and pee every single time. If you watch, you'll pick up on it, and you need to be watching for that and marking it and paying attention to it and looking for that. And you need to be quick on the draw once you see that signal. Pick that puppy up and get it outside very quickly. You need a designated puppy watcher. This means when the puppy's on the floor, or you're in the living room, the family's in the living room watching television, I want to know who's watching the puppy. Because if everybody's watching the puppy, truth is nobody's watching the puppy. So you have to have a designated puppy watcher, and you have to have a changing of the guards. If the designated puppy watcher has to make a trip to the bathroom himself, or has to go stir a pot in the kitchen or anything else, then the designated puppy watcher has to designate another puppy watcher and make sure that you know you are watching the puppy while I go do this, or that puppy's going to get missed.
Okay, I'm going to play a role. I'm single mom. I've got my kids. We happen to have a new puppy because the kids wanted a puppy.
Right.
I've got to go in the kitchen.
Okay.
Best thing to do, me take the puppy with me?
If you don't have a child old enough to be responsible, yes.
Okay. And in my case, having a child old enough to be responsible, but it's not.
Either way.
Watch the dog.
Either way. And you can put your puppy on a leash. I recommend an umbilical cord if you tend to forget that you're watching a puppy. Put your puppy on a short leash and attach it to your belt. That way you don't jump up and run to the kitchen and forget that you have a puppy that you're supposed to be watching.
Kind of like the string on the toe.
Right,
I gotcha.
exactly.
Okay.
Next thing is keep your puppy on a schedule. It's going to be very, very important that you keep him on a schedule. He needs to eat at the same time every day. He needs to go outside. He needs to sleep. All those on a schedule. Then it's going to be a lot easier on you to plan and know when that puppy is going to need to go out and that type of thing. So I would suggest feeding 2 to 3 times a day, depending on the age of the puppy. 3 when they're really young, get it down to 2 as they get older. But try to make it as near the same time of the day as possible every day, and that will help get his potty habits on a schedule as well.
Now I've noticed on the dog food bags and cans occasionally they'll have a chart of how much food, depending on the pounds of the dog that it might be. Is that fairly accurate?
Fairly, but every dog's an individual, so you do need to temper it by how the dog is actually progressing and growing with it. If you have your vet, your groomer, your breeder, somebody keep an eye on the weight process, and how the dog's developing. And you may have to cut back, you may have to increase a little bit, but it is a good guideline, a starting point.
Okay, we've talked about sleeping, we've talked about eating, we've talked about pooping, which are obviously the essentials.
Right.
But the other things, much like when you're raising a child, are habits.
Right. Right.
When and what habits should I be establishing?
Well, you need to be establishing where he's going to go to the bathroom. While you're at it, you want to establish your other house rules, where he's going to be, what rooms he's allowed in, what furniture he's allowed on. Is he going to be allowed to beg at the table? That type of thing. Back to knowing when he's going to need to potty and that kind of thing. You want to know, you need to realize that he's going to need to go potty first thing every morning. And by first thing every morning, that puppy can't hold it very long. As soon as he wakes up, he's got to go. So your rule of thumb is, I know how bad you got to go yourself when you get out of bed, but the puppy's first. Get out of bed and hold it and get that puppy out the door. Get the puppy out the door, take care of that, and then you can come back and take care of your own needs. Otherwise, the puppy's going to have an accident. So that's number one. Then after that, every time that puppy takes a nap, he's going to pee the instant he gets up. If you have to put a cat collar with a bell on him so that you can hear him wake up, he needs to be in his crate when he wakes up, so he's contained. But you need to be listening for that bell. Get him up, get him outside. Before and after every play session, he needs to go out and potty. After he eats, he needs to go out and potty. And last thing before he goes to bed, he needs to go out and potty.
And being consistent with those things are vital.
Extremely vital. Extremely vital. If everybody in the house doesn't follow the same rules, your puppy is not going to learn, because he's going to get different vibes from different people. So you've got to make sure that everybody is on board, and anybody that's not old enough or not willing to participate is not allowed to be in charge of the puppy, period.
So the bottom line, folks, that you've got to remember, that if you want a puppy, a kitty, any animal obviously in your home, you're going to need to make sure that you train this puppy or pet just like you would your own children, because if not, it's going to be a battle.
Yep. And
It's going to be a battle.
If you need to get it nipped in the bud early on, and you'll have a housebroken dog that you can live with and be comfortable with for the rest of the dog's life.
Fantastic. Debbie, thank you so much for being with us today. It is always great to have you, because as a parent, I'm feeling like I'm learning something, not only from my pets, but from my family as well. And if y'all want more information, of course, you can always go to Debbie's website, which we're going to have at the bottom, or the phone number there. And something I didn't want to forget, you said that you're going to start some classes soon.
Puppy 101 classes. It's going to cover housebreaking and general puppy nutrition and training and general stuff. I'm going to do a class. It's probably going to be like once every 5 or 6 weeks. It's just a one-time class. And I will have a schedule posted on our website, and I'll probably also, if you go to Facebook and like our page on Facebook, you'll get updates there, and I'll be posting information out when I get, when I have those classes ready.
Fantastic. Thanks again, Debbie. Again, it's Debbie Slocum with Slocum Ridge Pet Camp.